Yeah, let's go. Let's go. Buckeyes headed to the national championship. Leaving Buckeye podcast. Just give my initial reactions to the game. Man, heck of a game, man. Heck of a game. Big time finish. Jack Sawyer. I need to go back and watch that play again. Jack Sawyer. He has solidified himself. I know. He made the big play versus Michigan. We weren't able to capitalize on it. But this time we were. This time he finished it. He finished the play, picked the ball up, went and scored, sealed the victory. Um, and a guy like that, man, guy grew up in Columbus area, stayed, came back to reach those goals, and wasn't able to get a Big Ten championship. Wasn't able to beat that team up north. I'm just so happy for him being able to get this opportunity to seal the deal in the Cotton Bowl in a big time game. And this time, punch that ticket to a national championship, man. What a team. What a team, man. And then Caleb Towns coming back the next drive and basically anticipating the play that was called and getting the pick. I need to pull that play up, man. I want to see that again. But man, tough game, big time game, big time college football. Shout out to my Buckeyes, man, getting it done. So proud of them. The defense, a little slippage at in the second half, but man, came up big. There there's no better feeling than basically last play in the world, fourth down, fourth and goal, right there in the red zone. Is just one play for the game, um, and they were able to I mean, not just seal the deal. I'm curious. Anybody out there, um, if they can come up with another play as big as that one in Buckeye history. All right, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not the best historian, Buckeye historian when it comes to the major plays. So some of my some of my older Buckeye fans, you guys seen a lot of football. You know, was that play? What does that play rank from Jack Sawyer? Where does that play rank all time in terms of biggest plays and big games? Because it's got to be somewhere near the top. Like it's got to be. It's got to be. Let me see if I can pull that play up. Man, a tight game. I thought Texas did a great job. I thought, yeah, let's go, let's go. Um, I thought Texas did a great job in terms of their scheme and sticking to their game plan, really offensively and defensively. I didn't think. I mean, they didn't have a lot offensively, but they took what the defense gave them. They didn't press. They didn't beat themselves for most of the game, and then defensively, they stayed on top, kept everything in front of them, tackled in open field, and that scheme, and that's what I expected. You expected because they were able to see the way Ohio State can create explosives with Jeremiah Smith and continue and basically just end the game, right? They just end the game in the first half. So they obviously had to counter that. They saw two games of it. So, they got a really good defensive coordinator. They got a really, really good defense, really good defensive line. They also were able to watch Michigan and their approach. So they did a good job in terms of their game plan. I thought, where Ohio State made a mistake offensively is not taking what the defense, not doing what Texas was doing, not taking what the defense was giving them. Just check down screens, huge screen to end the half. Not going back to that. Maybe they did try. I don't remember, but it just felt like they didn't go back to that much. Um, but when they play Notre Dame is going to have this same game plan, a legit defense, same approach. They're going to be okay with not scoring a ton of points. They're going to make it a record game. They run the ball much better than Texas. They run the ball much better than Texas, but obviously their quarterback isn't as effective throwing the ball. They're gonna bracket coverage Jeremiah Smith. They did it last year versus Marvin Harrison Jr. All right, they're gonna force you, and they'll play a little bit more man on other guys because they do a good job in man coverage. So it's not gonna be it's gonna be some doubles, but they're gonna be a little bit more aggressive defensively. They blitz a lot more than Texas, so they're gonna come after. Um, Obviously, I like the Buckeyes. But man, going back to that play, I gotta let me see if I could share the screen and find this play. Um, Man, huge play in the end by Jack Sawyer. I need somebody tell me is that the biggest play? What is that rank in terms of like single plays in Buckeye football history? You can go as far back as 1950, whatever. I don't care. Somebody I need to know because right now, yeah, right now I got it up there. I got it up there. You think about the moment, the situation. I'm thinking about plays from my era. Troy Smith pass to Gonzo to beat on the drive to beat Michigan on the play that they needed to make. But I'm trying to. I can't think of. I just can't think of a play like that. I mean, sack, fumble, scoop and score on a fourth down. This is for Texas to go down there and tie the game. Big time. Jack finally, I see you, Thomas. Jack finally got his touchdown. He did. And he gets his hands on the ball a lot for a defensive lineman, like for a lot, a lot. You know, in that Michigan game, he got a pick. Got a pick as a D lineman. Um, yeah, it was, and Texas played a really good game. I thought Texas, I thought Texas played. They battled back. Um, they slowed the game down. They shortened the game, and they put themselves in position at the end to make something happen. Kept it close, executed plays, took advantage of Ohio State making mistakes, and they put themselves in position to make it happen. I mean, on the 2 yard line, basically, after a couple pass interference, which was a bad call on Jermaine Matthews. Shout out to Jermaine Matthews. Great coverage on the slant. He was aggressive on that slant. It was a bad call. Um, but man, Jack Sawyer. Listen. I might put a statue of Jack Sawyer in my lawn, in my front lawn. All right, he like we gotta commemorate this moment. This one that was a huge moment for a kid who grew up in the Columbus area. Man, it's crazy. It's crazy. My co-host Bryant Brown, he's doing the post game show on Spectrum One News. So if you got Spectrum, turn to Channel One if you want to see that post game. Um, yeah, let's. I see a few people in the chat. Just go through the game, man. I think early on Ohio State started fast, um, but the penalties stalled some drives, put them behind. And look, Texas is one of the best defenses in college football. So when you get a 10-yard holding penalty or 15-yard uh, personal foul or unnecessary or what was it? Yeah, personal foul penalty by Travion. I mean, what did Travion is the good Christian young man. What do you think they said to him or did to him to get him to hit somebody in the face? I'm curious. I really need to know. I got to know. I got to know. Like they must have um, insulted insulted God in some way. I'm curious, but shout out to Travion because he got it back right before the half. Uh, you go right before the half, 29 seconds left. You're not gonna press. You don't want Will Howard to do what Drew Aller did last night and throw a pick, backed up, right, and give the other team points. So you do it. Usually you have a run play or a screen play. Typical. Do a run or a screen. See if you can bust something for 30, 20, 15 yards, and then you decide, okay, do we try to go get in field goal range? They do the screen, and because Texas defense is so concerned about the explosive plays. They're so concerned. They're dropping. Everybody's dropping. And you get a dangerous player in space who had a lot of space, and that's Travion Henderson. Man, Travion Henderson in space is a nightmare. Um, and he was able to take that. That was a huge play right before the half because Texas tied the game up. Was going to go into halftime feeling good. It was basically 0-0. Nope. Travion Henderson was able to put them back ahead. Yeah, penalties killed them. Penalties killed them all game. And that's the game plan from Texas. It's like, look, don't give up nothing cheap. Don't give up no explosives. And then let's see if they can drive down the field and play a clean game. Let's see if they can avoid getting holding calls against our great D line. Let's see if they can, not get false starts. Let's see if Will Howard can continue to identify what we're giving them. They did a lot of disguise and a lot of movement. Give him a ton of looks. I know he wants to go to Jeremiah Smith. We're gonna show too high. We're gonna come down, show like the safeties show like we're rocking. Then boom, we're gonna go back and double. Um, I thought, I mean they watched the Michigan game. They understood like what the approach has to be able to slow down that offense. And really what Texas lost it is that they just couldn't get it done when US needed to make a play. Quinn Ewers, um, I think he really struggles to identify what the defense is doing to really process. He doesn't really have a great feel for it. If he knows where he's going pre-snap and Sark draws up a good play, he's going to be on the money, on target, great pass. But as a veteran college quarterback, that's why I was so surprised when Emmanuel Acho was talking about Will Howard not being the worst quarterback left. But um, I'm not sure Quinn Ewers is better than Will Howard. Uh, but yeah, what you say, Thomas? You concerned in the second half because it seemed like there were no notable adjustments on offense. Yeah, I agree, and I didn't mind the drop back passes to continue that they were trying to do. But where's the check down? Okay. Where's show drop back and then run the screens? They finally did it on the one drive and they got down the field. Because Texas is okay with you throwing the ball to the running back. They feel like they're just gonna come up and tackle and force you to continue to dink and dunk down the field. If they're gonna force you to dink and dunk down the field, dink and dunk. Okay. I don't want the ball to go into G Scott in space. I want the ball to go into Carnell Tate, Emeka Ibuka, Jeremiah Smith on that shallow crossing. You could still run those deep passes, but if they cover it, that means there's room underneath to drop it down, and that's something they're gonna have to adjust. I mean, they're gonna have to make some adjustments. Let me see if this play is up. Um, from Jack Sawyer here. I want to pull it up here. I want to pull it up here. Yeah, I thought it took them too long to really adjust to how that defense was playing them, um, because it was there, okay, and it's gonna be there against Notre Dame as well. It's gonna be there against Notre Dame. They're gonna play similar coverage, a little bit more aggressively. They're gonna be a little more aggressive, but I think Chip and Ryan Dare are really gonna have to figure out, okay, how do we make sure we getting these running backs involved in the run game? How we make sure we're getting them involved in the run game? Let me see if I can pull this play up. There you go. Look at this. It's crazy. Fourth and goal, 21-14. Um, you he has to make a play. It's time. It's it. You done did everything. You're in position to tie the game up and try to extend this game and win a Cotton Bowl. Who's gonna make a play? Who's gonna make a play? And you go back, somewhat similar situation versus Michigan in the red zone. They in position to score. Who's gonna make a play? Had to make a play. I think they might have been on the 2 yard line or something. I don't know. Jack Sawyer picks the ball off. Weren't able to cash in on that one. But man, after that game, I'm like, Jack Sawyer, like you good with me. After the game, fought after he fought guys off trying to plant the flag on the block. Go look, Jack Sawyer, you good with me. Well, who's gonna make the play? The funny thing about this is my wife says Jack Sawyer's gonna make a play right before it happens, and then boom, just completely just discards the tackle. Just get out of here. Boom. And Quentin Ewers could feel that pressure and just can't do nothing about it. Gets sacked, fumble, scoop. This man, that's a big time play. Huge play. Shout out to the Buckeyes. This team, before the season started, was a veteran team with a ton of talent, with a ton of coaches with experience, with Ryan Day finally shifting to a CEO type role and continuing to learn and grow as a head coach. They didn't they weren't able to complete the goal of winning the Big Ten because they lost to Michigan again. Weren't able to beat that team up north because they lost to them again. Low point in the season and probably Coach Day's lowest point as head coach, given all the other things with the talent and everything, being favored by so much. But the response has been above and beyond what I hoped for. And honestly, I think Coach Day is built for this. And as I mentioned many times before, he's been growing as a coach. I mean, he's a rookie head coach. I mean, we look at Marcus Freeman, who's a rookie head coach. Day's been coaching head coach longer, but it's not easy coaching in Ohio State, and he um, continues to build, and now they put themselves in a position to get it done. Put themselves in a position to get it done. Somebody said, "Messy win," but I'm sorry. Yeah, I mean it's gonna be. Listen. When you have two high-powered defenses, two blue blood programs, look, man, some stuff it's gonna get a little messy. It's gonna get a little messy. I agree, Thomas. They put some pressure on them all night. They put pressure on them all night. Um, and if you look at Texas offense, they didn't do anything extraordinary. There was no huge plays offensively. Tailback getting out of the backfield, not even covered. Right, somebody dropped cover. Somebody busted coverage on that play. And the other one was Sonny Styles got beat with the tailback getting out of the backfield. But on both of those, I thought the biggest mistake is not identifying that tailback, who typically releases for passes, is lined up in a position where he's likely to release for a pass. Okay, most of the passes from Ewers went to the running back. It's reminiscent of Penn State yesterday, where all the passes they didn't really throw any passes to receivers. It's the same way. Quinn struggled for most of the game, but you also got to tip your hat to him because he did a good job of just taking what was being given, and Ohio State had to make the adjustment. Some of that play calling prior to Oregon game, yeah, yeah. Defense definitely was shifted, kind of retooled after the Oregon game. Offense shifted and retooled after the Michigan game, and what we got to also understand is Texas was better positioned than Oregon and Tennessee because they had 2 games of film on how Ohio State was attacking with Jeremiah Smith. We got to understand Jeremiah Smith is no longer a freshman. He went through a full season, got a little bit of a break. Now he's in the playoffs. This playoffs is the second season for him. He's really coming into his own as to who he is going to be. And those first 2 games were almost definitely caught Tennessee by surprise a little bit, and still kind of caught Oregon by surprise because they only saw it once. But now Texas has that game film. Was able to say, okay, we know for a fact the head of the snake is Jeremiah Smith. We got to stop him first before we can do anything else. Um, and Notre Dame is going to have that, and they're also going to have some of the adjustments that they and Chip Kelly made off of Texas' approach. So they're going to have a little bit more. And listen, I played with Marcus Freeman, and I followed his coaching journey. And Notre Dame's defense is legit. They got some guys out that got injured that aren't going to be playing, which doesn't look like they've missed a beat much with those guys out. Um, so they're going to be legit. It was a non-aggressive passing approach. Texas having 2 deep the whole time. Oh, you talking about Texas defense? Texas defense. They didn't always stay in 2 deep. So what they showed 2 deep. They played coverage. They rolled they favored Jeremiah Smith on most of the game. So when they weren't playing 2 deep, they dropped the linebackers. So when you play cover 3, you're dropping linebackers. But what Texas did before every play, they knew what Jeremiah Smith was. So that linebacker dropped a little bit more if it's Jeremiah Smith. When they played cover 2, and the corner was rolled up, that corner dropped a little bit deeper, right, to help the safety out versus Jeremiah Smith. They did a good job of awareness. It's one thing. So from Will Howard's standpoint, he threw a pick on one of the plays. It was Texas is in a cover 3, and he hadn't seen that cover 3 for a while, and he recognized it early, and he's like, oh, they're gonna play cover 3, which means they got one corner out there playing deep. They're not rolled up on him. They don't got 2 guys on him. He's gonna be open. But Texas, they understood, okay, this is where he's at. That linebacker to his side dropped much deeper than what he typically does, and he got the pick. And that's good defensive football. It's more than just executing the play. It's understanding the situation and good communication and awareness during the play. So Texas, they're a good football team. They play smart. They play smart defense. That safety Tap, or the one guy, he's not the greatest safety from athletic standpoint, but he's a smart player. He did a good job of disguising coverage, moving late, and it forced Will Howard to think a little bit more and figure out while he's getting pressure. So Texas did a good job defensively. They did not do a great job offensively, and it's hard to against this Buckeye defense. But they did do a good job of taking what the defense was giving them. And they put themselves in position. Look, at the end of the game, they put themselves in position to be able to tie the game up, extend the game, and go make a play. And I'm gonna wrap up here, but I want to show this play one more time. This situation. This is last play of the world. When we are in practice, we'll do this. It's the 4th down. It's for the game. Last play in the world. Who's going to win defense or offense? That was the situation in this case because they have to score. If they don't score, game's basically over, right? Last play in the world. Defense is playing the quarters coverage. Good coverage by the defensive backs. And see, rushing coverage works together, all right? Rushing coverage, because if somebody comes open, and obviously they need a touchdown, so you can see Hill's on the goal line for most. Jordan Hancock is a little bit in the end zone. I think he's a little bit too deep, but He was on the goal line for most, but good coverage. It starts off with good coverage, and man, Jack Sawyer, the tackle did he slapped he knocks the hands down. Great pass rush move, great hands, boom, knocks him down, and that's all she wrote. That's all she wrote. I might have to go ahead and go to Atlanta for this championship game. Shout out to the Buckeyes, getting it done. Next stop, national champions. Go Bucks.